So, you're working those 12-hour days and you still feel like you're failing. Let me tell you something, it is not because you lack discipline. It's because there's a fundamental glitch in how you perceive reality. See, we've all been sold this lie, that success means being the person who can handle it all, that our time is this infinite resource we can just keep spending. Well, today we're going to dismantle that lie. We're replacing it with a system, an actual architecture for your time, your focus, and your impact. This is what we call architectural sovereignty.
And this quote, it just nails the core of the problem. Your brain literally cannot feel the true weight, the real cost of a task, until it's right in front of you. That commitment you just made for 3 weeks from now, to your brain, that feels cheap. It feels easy, almost free. But that email you have to answer in the next 10 minutes, that feels crushingly real. This gap, this huge cognitive blind spot, that's where overwhelm is born. Your future time is basically a cognitive hallucination, and your brain is the architect of that illusion.
So let's get real for a second. Why do we keep falling for this illusion over and over again? Well, it's because we are haunted by the social prize. We are biologically wired to seek approval, to be seen as the helpful one, the capable one, the essential one. I mean, think about it. In our evolutionary past, being kicked out of the tribe was a death sentence. So when someone asks for your help, a deep, ancient part of your brain lights up thinking, okay, say yes, ensure survival. You think you're just being a good team player, but what's really happening is you're running a subconscious survival script that is fueling your chronic overcommitment.
All right, here's our blueprint to rebuild your entire system. First, we're going to diagnose what we call the capacity hallucination and really understand its biology. Then, I'm going to give you the solution, a 3-part system called the Strategic Veto Protocol. We'll dig into the science that makes it so ridiculously effective, and finally, we'll make it real with a plan for your first 24 hours and show you how to truly, actually engineer your impact for good. Okay, Section 1, the capacity hallucination. Look, this isn't just some vague feeling of being busy. No, this is a specific, predictable neurological event. So let's name it, let's define its symptoms, and let's get crystal clear on the damage it's causing.
And the symptoms? Oh, they're visceral. You know what I'm talking about. It's that sickening pit in your stomach on a Sunday night when you stare at the week ahead. It's living in this constant, low-grade state of obligation panic. This happens because your brain is running what we call a hero script, this subconscious story that tells you your value is directly tied to how much you can say yes to. And this script, it treats every single request not as an option, but as a survival requirement. It's overclocking your entire nervous system, causing this thing called margin decay, the slow, painful erosion of your time for deep work and, for actually living.
Now, here's the key insight. The thing almost everyone misses. You cannot solve an architectural problem with a behavioral solution. All the time management hacks in the world, the Pomodoro timers, the fancy to-do lists, they're just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. They don't fix the flawed foundation. The secret to 10x output isn't about managing your time better. It's about redesigning the entire system that governs your commitments in the first place. You don't need to be more helpful. You need to engineer a better gate.
So in Section 2, we're going to go under the hood and look at the biology of overcommitment. This is where we uncover the specific neural hijack that keeps you trapped in this endless cycle of saying yes and then immediately regretting it. This is the biological trap of what's called temporal myopia. And at the very heart of this hijack is a cognitive bias we call the optimism glitch. See, your brain is terrible at something called effective forecasting, basically predicting how you'll feel in the future. So to your brain, a problem 3 weeks away feels abstract, low cost. But a social reward right now, like someone saying, thank you, you're a lifesaver, that feels incredibly real and valuable. So your brain systematically discounts future pain just to get that hit of present moment social approval. It's a simple calculation, and it is absolutely devastating.
Think of it like this. There is a civil war happening inside your skull. Present you is driven by your ventral striatum. That's the impulsive, reward-seeking part of your brain. Its main currency is social approval, and its primary output is what we call the bad yes. Then you have future you. That's governed by your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the DLPFC, the strategic CEO of your mind. Its reward is deep, meaningful impact. Well, the optimism glitch is what happens when your impulsive brain stages a coup, completely vetoing your future peace for an immediate hit of validation.
And the result of this coup? It's the all-too-familiar yes hangover.
You know that sinking feeling? That moment of brutal clarity when 3 weeks from now suddenly becomes today. It's when you look at your calendar and realize with horror that you've somehow promised 40 hours of work into a 24-hour day. This isn't just feeling busy. It's a state of temporal bankruptcy, and it was engineered by your own mind weeks ago.
I really want to be crystal clear here. This is not bad luck. This is not a character flaw. This is not you being disorganized or lazy. It is a systemic neural hijack. Your brain's hardware is literally wired with a default setting that prioritizes short-term social safety over your long-term strategic success. And just recognizing this, that it's a hardware problem, not a willpower problem, that is the first crucial step toward reclaiming control.
Which brings us, finally, to the solution. Section 3, the Strategic Veto Protocol. If the problem is a flawed system, well, the solution has to be a better system. This is not about trying harder, it's about installing a robust gating engine for your sovereignty, one that actually works with your biology, not against it.
Now, this protocol has 3 core mechanics. First, the Today Test audit, which forces an honest look at the real cost. Second, quarantine gating, to create a buffer against your own impulses. And third, opportunity cost weighting, which shifts your entire mindset from one of addition to one of subtraction. Okay, let's break each one down. So the first layer of this engine is the Today Test audit. It's a really simple but profound shift in the question you ask yourself. When a request comes in for 2 weeks from now, you stop asking, "Can I do this?" Because your hallucinating brain is almost always going to say yes. Instead, you have to ask, if this person needed this done right now, today, would I drop everything that's important to me to do it? This one question just collapses that temporal distance. It short-circuits the optimism glitch and forces your brain to feel the true, honest weight of the commitment.
Next up is quarantine gating. See, that bad yes is an impulsive, emotional decision, and it's fueled by a hit of what we call social dopamine. So to counter this, you have to install a mandatory buffer. Your new default answer to any non-trivial request becomes, "Let me check my priorities and I'll get back to you in 24 hours. This isn't just some delay tactic, it's a strategic cooldown period. It gives that social dopamine hit time to fade away and allows your strategic brain, your DLPFC, to finally come online and analyze the request rationally.
And the final layer is opportunity cost weighting. This is a fundamental re-architecture of how you make decisions. You have to shift from an additive model of what else can I add to my plate to a subtractive one. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Because every yes takes energy from your family, from your health, from your deep work. So you have to create a ruthless filter, a value bracket, where you consciously decide that only the top 1% of opportunities, the true needle movers, are even allowed to touch your calendar. The whole goal here is to completely transform your mind. You stop operating like a reactive help desk, just fielding every incoming request from the world, and you become a forge of deep impact, a protected, focused space where you create your most valuable work. This is the shift. It's moving from a life of reactive fragility to one of true architectural sovereignty. Okay, now let's look at the proof. Section 4, the science of sovereignty. Why is this protocol so darned effective? It's because it directly speaks to the neurobiology we've been talking about. This is a strategic defense system, and it's grounded in hard science. And get this, the data is fascinating. Research shows that when you shift from this constant reactive decision-making to a clear, gated system, the conflict signal in your brain, all that neural noise from anxiety and decision fatigue, it drops by up to 40%, almost instantly. I mean, that's a 40% boost in cognitive clarity and focus just from installing a better system. And that 40% reduction in noise, it represents a massive reallocation of your cognitive resources. Your brain uses a surprising amount of energy, what we can call executive glucose, just to manage conflict and make decisions. So by installing a gate, you stop spending that precious fuel on managing the mess of overcommitment, and instead, you get to invest it where it actually belongs, on executing the win and doing the deep work that truly matters.
But it gets even better. This creates a powerful, self-reinforcing feedback loop known as the winner effect. Every single time you use this protocol to reject a low-value request, you send a powerful signal to your own brain. And that signal says, my future time is more valuable than this person's immediate convenience. Your brain internalizes this. It starts to conclude that you're a high-status individual whose focus is worth protecting, which makes it neurologically easier to say no the next time, creating this amazing upward spiral of sovereignty.
Section 5, your first 24 hours. Let's make this protocol actionable right now. We're going to take this out of the world of theory and put it directly into practice today. Okay, here's your mission for today. A simple commitment audit. First, Identify one request you're currently considering, something that's just in the air. Second, freeze. For the next 24 hours, your answer is simply not yes. Use that quarantine script. Let me check my priorities and get back to you. And third, delete. Go to your calendar right now and kill 3 low-value items that you only said yes to because of social pressure or that optimism glitch.
And when you delete those items, I want you to remember this principle. Emphasize the velocity of the deletion over the volume of the explanation. You do not owe anyone a long, drawn-out story. A simple, my priorities have shifted and I can no longer commit to this, is more than enough. Be swift, be decisive. The goal here is to immediately feel that lightness, that expansion of margin that comes from subtraction.
And this brings us to our final section, engineering your impact. This is where we zoom out and we lock in this new paradigm. This is about mastering the art of the strategic veto, not as some defensive move, but as the primary offensive tool for creating a life of real meaning and accomplishment.
It is absolutely essential that you internalize this new definition of greatness. For years, we've been taught that high performance is about capacity, about how much you can handle. That is the path to burnout. True greatness is about filtration. It's about how well you can guard your time and your attention until only the tasks that generate true impact are left. You are not a container built to hold more. You are a guardian built to protect what is most valuable.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. What specific hero script is faking your capacity right now? Is it the script that says, I have to be the most helpful person on the team? Or maybe the one that says, I can't let anyone down? Your mission is to find that line of code running in your own mind. Find it and kill the noise, because you cannot outperform a temporal hallucination.
I want you to remember this. Margin is engineered.
It is not some luck-based event that only happens to other people.
You have to gate the system
To claim the life that you are truly capable of living.